Hello and welcome to JRS Pilates. I'm here today to do another Pilates all body workout with you, starting off with the standing warm-up. So let's start off with our feet flat on the floor, all 5 toes connected to the ground, and just be aware that your legs are taking the weight of your spine. So you can squeeze your inner thighs together, you can wrap your thigh muscles around your bones and close your eyes for a moment and just be aware of finding the balance of your body in between those 2 feet. Imagine that you're in sand and you're planting down those feet and imprinting in the sand, and it's got to be equal on both feet. And while your eyes are closed, it might be a little bit challenging, but just be aware of lengthening through your spine. So imagine that the crown of your head is lifting up to the ceiling. Your head is a balloon, and the thread of the string of the balloon is your spine. And it's rooted into your tailbone and going down into the back of your legs, into your heels and into the ground. So just focus on the balloon lifting up to the ceiling. The belly slightly pulled in, the tautness of the string is keeping you nice and strong. And then I want you to imagine that your head is a ball on top of a pole, which is your spine, and you're trying not to let it fall off. So just be aware of lengthening and strengthening through the middle of your body, the abdominals, and the legs is nice and strong. Now we can open our eyes for a moment, but just be aware of opening up through the chest, stretching out the front of the body while the back of the body is the strength. So draw those shoulder blades down the spine into a gentle soft V. We don't want to clench them too close together, but just draw them down into a soft V into the base of the spine. Okay, and feel the muscles in the back of the body. And as your glutes, you're going to hold a couple of walnuts in your butt cheeks and just be aware of just holding on to them without cracking them. Just holding on to them and drive the heels down. And just be aware of the back of the body being stronger than the front. And it's quite unusual if your everyday life, we tend to come forward and use the anterior chain of the body instead. So just take a moment to stretch out the front and try to imagine that your whole of your back is against the wall and you're trying to keep the back of the shoulders on that wall. The crown of the head is lengthening up to the ceiling. The chin is parallel to the floor but pushed back slightly so we're not coming forward. Yeah, and it's quite uncomfortable, but this is how we should be. So it's a challenge in itself, just holding this position. Now, we're going to, with the strength in those legs and the belly slightly pulled in and the glutes engaged, take the heels and toes apart now, but maintain each leg strong, heels equally into the floor. Keep that chest open, that 5-pound note gently into your shoulder blades. And we're just going to start off now by breathing into the nose as we elevate the arms up to the ceiling. Keep the shoulders down, option bend the elbows. Exhale out to the side, we exhale through the mouth. Now we breathe into the nose and we breathe into the rib cage. Exhale through the mouth. And as we breathe into the rib cage, I want you to keep your belly slightly pulled in. Imagine a belt around the waist, only the 3rd notch of a 10-notch belt. We don't want to over tense that area, but we just want to be aware of that strength. Now we're going to go in another direction. We're going to breathe in, take the arms out to the sides, and exhale, come forward. Now try and keep the back of the shoulders against that imaginary wall behind you. Breathing into the nose. And your breath will dictate the movement. So the idea is the breath leads the movement. We don't go too quickly in Pilates. The slower we go, the more advanced or in line with our breath. Be mindful. Exhale. Now bring those arms just up to shoulder height. We're going to practice our shoulder stabilization. We're going to breathe in. We're going to reach the fingertips forward. So we're rounding the shoulders. And on the exhale, we're going to draw the shoulder blades down the spine a bit more. Bring the shoulders back, but keep the fingertips long. So it's a subtle movement. Round. Nice and easy if you're round-shouldered like me, but you've got to then exhale, draw the blades back, yeah, or the shoulders back, breathing in. So you're imagining that 5-pound note between your blades, you're just trying to hold it a bit tighter on the exhale. Breathing in one more time, breathing out. Now, let's practice our lateral breath. Breathe into the rib cage expands like the arms. Exhale, the rib cage deflates like the arms. Breathing in. Now keep the belly in slightly as you take the arms out to the sides and increase the width of your rib cage. So it's never easiest to go a bit deeper into the lungs, but keep the belly in. We don't want it to dome out. Yeah, one more time, breathing in. And exhale, keep those shoulders down. And bring those arms down by the sides. Okay, and just roll the shoulders forward, up, back and down. And just be aware of the shoulder joint, yeah? Just be aware of the rotation here, forward, up, back and down. And the other direction. Never underestimate the importance of this kind of movement. If we do it regularly enough, it will keep any injury and pain at bay in the rotator cuff shoulder joints. Yeah. Now we're going to come into side bend. We're going to elevate the left arm up to the ceiling and bring the right fingertips down to the thigh as we go over. Now option, bend the elbow, that's okay. Or if you want to make it more challenging, extend. Now on your next exhale, pull the belly in to restack the spine from here. Other side. Now we're just trying to stretch out from the sides of the body. And on your next exhale, pull in from your abs. Nothing too tense. We don't want to really tense up the body here. That restricts movement. So we're just being aware of just pulling that belly in about 30% only to come back to the center. Exhale at the side. Keep the shoulders down. It's this part that we're focusing on. And come back to the center. Now we're going to look over our left shoulder on our inhale. Sorry, right shoulder. And exhale back to the center. Doesn't matter which side, over to the other side. Keeping both shoulders down, open the chest. And come back to the center. Keep the body tall. And over to the other side one more time. Just feel that rotation in the neck. And the shoulders aren't moving. Come back slowly to the center. And over to the other side. And come back to the center slowly. Let's take the right ear to the right shoulder. The left fingertips remain long. Don't lift up the shoulders. Now come back to the center. The crown lengthening and lifting up to the sky. Other side. And back. Let's do that one more time. Keeping that chest open, keeping the shoulders down. So there might not be much movement here, and that's okay, as long as you're feeling the stretch in the side of the neck. That's okay. Now, let's bring our chin to our chest. Squeeze our throat muscle. Look as high as you can up your chest. Squeeze your throat, keep the chest open. And come back to the center. And then we look up to the ceiling. Any problems with the neck, just lift the chin slightly and look forward. Okay, otherwise, if you can, look up. That intensifies the stretch. And we're stretching out the throat now. And slowly come back to the center. Now let's elevate both arms, breathing in. Keep the shoulders down into that soft V, the shoulder blades into that soft V. Just reach the fingertips up to the sky. And on our exhale, we're going to come forward. We're going to bring our chin to our chest. We're going to round forward. So we're going to flex the spine. Now pull your belly in, bend the knees on this first one, and just round over a beach ball. And I want you to think about your pelvis. I want you to flick your tailbone up to the ceiling. Yeah, flicking the tailbone up. Now bend the knees, and the hands just drop. You can have your hands behind your legs, but no tension in the neck. So I want you to keep your shoulders away from your ears and the back of the neck long. Now let's pedal. One knee forward and the other leg straight. So we're just trying to stretch out one hamstring as you bend the other knee forward. Keep the hips still. We don't want to go from side to side here. The hips aren't going from side to side. It's literally just stretching out the hips. Sorry, the hamstring, sorry. Now, both legs now flat on the floor. Bend the knees. Take a deep inhale. On your exhale, we start with the tail. We tuck it under. We pull our belly in. And we round that lower back, middle back, upper back restacks, head and shoulders come up top last. Breathing in. Elevate both arms with our lat muscles, yeah, belly slightly pulled in. Exhale out to the sides. Now we're going to zip up that pelvic floor muscle. So think about stopping your pee mid-flow if you're a lady. And for gentlemen, icy water covering up those legs, and you've got to lift up those regions. So it's an internal muscle. And while we lift up that internal muscle, bring your sternum, your chest bone, down to meet it, the rib to hip connection, but still maintain the length in the spine as you condense here. So we can squeeze our glutes, and we're going to exhale, lift the heels off the floor, engaging that internal muscle inside us. Push the sternum down to meet that pelvic floor. The glutes are squeezing, the thigh muscles wrapped around the bones, the neck and shoulders are relaxed. Breathing in to release. Let's go again. Exhale. Squeeze your glutes. Yeah, you can crack the walnuts now in those butt cheeks. About 50% engagement here. Breathing in. 2 more times. So relax the neck and shoulders. We keep the shoulders down. The chest remains open. The 5-pound note in those blades. Breathing in. Let's do that 1 more time. Squeeze your glutes. Pull your belly in. Now, let's see if you can stay up this time. Hold the position. Breathing in, elevate both arms. Reach up tall. Option, bend the elbows. Exhale, straight back down. We want to keep that chest open. Imagine your arms are against an imaginary wall behind you. Exhale. Let's do 2 more times. Now, you've got to keep that pelvic floor lifted. You've got to bring your sternum down to meet it, and you have to practice your lateral thoracic breath here. Yeah, because that belly's got to stay in. Let's do this 1 more time. Squeeze your glutes a bit harder if you need to. Breathing in. Breathing out. Can you lift a bit higher with those heels? And slowly pull down. Okay, let's pivot swing from side to side. Get some nice rotation. Take your time here. We're going to do 5 on each side. The arms just hang. The shoulders are down. We're twisting in the thoracic spine here. The back heel comes off the floor to get further rotation. Let's do this 1 more time. Look at the hands. Look at the hands. And come back to the start position. Okay, so let's bring ourselves to the base of our mats now. Just adjust the mat if you need to. Your legs are hip distance. We're going to breathe in. And on your exhale, we're going to start with the chin. We bring the chin to the chest, the ribs to the hips. We pull the belly in. Bend the knees if you need to, and we round through the spine. Now, we're going to take a moment here. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Take a deep inhale. And on your exhale, we start with the tail. We tuck under. We pull the belly in. We round the lower back. That comes up first, then the middle back, then the head and shoulders come up top last. Breathing in. Elevate both arms. Now, option here, tuck the tail under, bend the knees forward, and the hips are coming forward. And we can look up, yeah, these cervical problems, keep looking forward. Otherwise, look up, back bend, yeah. Breathing into the rib cage. On your exhale through the mouth, bring your chin to your chest. The shoulders come over the hips, and they come forward. We're diving forward, and I want you to think about pulling your belly in and flicking your tailbone up to the ceiling. Breathing in. Take a deep inhale here. On your exhale, we start with the tail again. We tuck under, pull the belly in, round, round. So you have to really pull that belly in to come back up again to make sure that you're working into the abdominals. Breathing in, 1 more time. Draw the blades into that soft V. Exhale into your back bend. Now arms wide this time to get a beautiful stretch into your chest. Breathing into the ribs, tuck the tail under. Now, chin to chest, exhale through the mouth, shoulders over hips, and they come forward. Can you come a bit more forward this time? Flip your tail up to the sky. Now this time, we're going to walk the hands out in front of us. One hand leading, keep the hips nice and still. Bend the knees if you need to. And we're going to come into a plank position. Now, option, drop the knees on the floor where they are. Otherwise, full plank. Legs hip distance, fingertips wide. Now, we're going to exhale, and we're going to bring our left knee to the outside of our left elbow. Left rib to hip connection. Breathing in, lengthen the leg back. Now, option, the knee can come to the floor. And you can just go from side to side, yeah, like this. Rib to hip on that left side. Exhale through the mouth and you can look behind now over your shoulder to get the deep kind of twist, or not twist, but kind of like sort of restriction in the rib to hip connection. You're trying to tighten that area up and strengthen it. Your obliques. We'll do one more on each side. Exhale. Breathing in, legs are nice and long. And back. And take the knees wide now. Let the toes relax and sink down into your child's pose. Just be aware here, if you need to, bend the elbows. Do whatever feels comfortable, but think about lengthening from the crown of your head to your tail. Yeah, we're trying to lengthen. Sinking the armpits a little bit lower. The knees can go wide, the toes together. And breathing into the rib cage. And relax the neck and shoulders. Now, we're going to bring ourselves up into a 4-point kneel position. So make sure your wrists are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. Now, we're going to start off just by engaging that core. So I want you to think about pulling your belly button slightly in and drawing those shoulder blades into that soft V. So the back of your neck is long and the crown of your head is reaching away from your tail. Now, option, just lift one knee 1 millimeter off the floor on your exhale and inhale to release. My spine is not moving. Otherwise, both knees up for 1 millimeter, inhale to release. So we'll do this 3 more times. So it's only 1 millimeter. We don't want to come up too high and you don't want to round your spine. We'll do it 1 more time. And release. Okay, now we're going to come into cat and cow, just to mobilize a little bit more on the spine before we start our workout. On your exhale, tuck the tail under, pull the belly in, round through that lower back, middle back, upper back, head and shoulders. The back of the neck is long. On your next inhale, flick the tail up, dip the lower spine. Draw the blades back and look up. Spine extension. And let's do that 1 more time. We exhale to round. Take a couple of breaths if you need to in one position. Just enjoy the stretch. And inhale into our cow. Flip the tail up, draw the blades back, push the collarbone forward, but the shoulders back. And come back to a neutral spine in between those 2 points. Now, I want you to, on your inhale, slide your right leg away, keeping the pelvis completely still here. Got that tray of drinks on your back. Yeah, take the fingers wide. Yeah, the creases of your elbows facing forward. And flex the heel and drive your right leg up, just to hip height. We lower to the floor. We drive back up, a straight lever. Breathing in, breathing out. Now keep centered. Keeping between those 2 hands. And exhale, 4. We're focusing on length. I don't want to see any bend in that right knee. Yeah. We'll do 2 more. And 1 more. And slide that leg back in. And we'll do the same with the left. Now make sure those knees are under your hips and they're not coming too far forward. On your inhale, slide the left leg away. Flex the heel. Now we're squeezing our glutes here. Yeah, that left glute is firing as we drive the leg away. Heel drives away. Inhale, tap. Exhale, 2. Keep centered in between those 2 hands. Yeah, and you're going to feel the work on one side in particular. Think about the rib to hip connection on one side in particular. We're going to do 2 more. The back of the neck is long as the shoulders stay down. And slowly bring that leg back in. We're going to take another child's pose here and just give our wrist a little rotation. So come down to the floor and just let the forehead drop and just do some circles in one direction and then in the other direction with those wrists. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to do, we did 8 repetitions. Now this time we're going to see whether we can Do the same movement. We'll do 4 repetitions only, but the opposite hand comes out. Now option, just stick to what you did before. Otherwise, be aware, elbow creases facing forward, shoulders into that soft V, knees underneath the hips, legs hip distance, toes relaxed. So we slide the left hand and the right toe away from the midline, and on the exhale, we lengthen. Now the left hand doesn't move, we flex the right heel. We tap down, we drive up and drive away. Now if you feel this in your lower back, just tuck the tail under slightly. Your right lats are working hard here, the muscles underneath your right armpits. And hold the position on the 4th one. Stretch. Left fingers driving away from the right heel. Can you lift up a bit more with your upper abdominals here and your right lats? And slowly lower. Pull back in and take a moment. Breathe. Yeah. And now we're going to do the other side. All right, so right fingers, left toe. Now option, keep the hands, both hands on the floor. Otherwise, flex left heel. And we're stretching the right fingertip away from that left heel. Now lower the toe, pull back up for 4. Try and keep the legs straight, keep the left hip facing down. We don't want the pelvis moving at all or tilting. Shoulder blades into that soft V on the right hand. Now hold the position. Stretch. And slowly lower. Pull back in and come back to your well in child's pose. And often it's rushing is the worst thing you can do. It's more about slowing down, talking to your body, listening to your body, and increasing the range. And that's where the intensity comes from and the progression. Okay, lovely. So we're now going to come onto our fronts. And I want you to focus here on just letting, this is going to be more upper back we're working now. Not the traps in the neck. We don't want to work that muscle. We want to go lower. We want to go to the muscles underneath the shoulder blades. All those rotator cuff muscles we have there that are often really neglected. Okay, and that's why a lot of people do struggle with injuries in this area. So I want you to think about the muscles in between the shoulder blades as well as underneath the shoulder blades, okay? And the only way that I can get you to think about using them is to think about not drawing the shoulder blades together, but pulling them down. So if you think about pulling them down towards the base of your spine, towards your glutes, yeah, then you should hopefully feel them working a bit more. Now, we're going to come into a kind of Sphinx position. So in this position with the belly slightly lifted, we don't want to sink. Yeah, if we sink like this, you're working into your shoulders. Yeah, it's not good for you. So we want to keep the shoulders out of it. And like it's the muscles in between those shoulder blades or around underneath the shoulder blades. So pull your belly in slightly, tuck the tail under to avoid the lower back working. The pubic bone's on the floor, but the belly is lifted. And I want you to think about the shoulder blades drawing down the back of your spine. Now you may not only be able to do this for a couple of breaths and then come relax. You can just come to the floor like this, okay? Otherwise, we're gonna hold this for a little bit longer. We're gonna look over our right shoulder and come back to the center. Keep the chest open here, other side. So while we're doing this, belly in, tail tucked, let's go over to the right side again with the head. I want you to push your collarbone forward and your shoulders back, and then you feel the back of the shoulders working, as well as the muscles in between those blades and underneath the blades. Now, we're now slowly going to slide the right fingertips forward. Now keep the hips on the floor with the belly lifted. Squeeze your glutes, pull back in. Same with the left. And pull back in. Now make sure that you're not sinking into the elbows. Let's go again. You can bring the elbows or the forearms closer together if you want to now. That helps a little bit here. Now, we're going to do 2 more. See if you can take the arm up to shoulder height. Pull in. Now, if it's in your bag, stick to the fingers on the floor. Tuck the tail under, squeeze your glutes, pull your belly in. Do that one more time, and then we take a break. Forearms can be closer together, but keep the shoulder blades down into that soft V, into the base of the spine. Lovely. And come down to the floor for a moment and give your hips a little shake from side to side. We're going to now focus on the glutes. So on your exhale, with your belly in and your tail slightly tucked, squeeze your glutes a bit more now. This is a glute exercise as well as a hamstring exercise. I want to drive your right leg away from you. Keep the leg long. Inhale, release, left leg. And repeat, exhale, right leg. Now keep the leg as straight as you can with the toe pointed this time. Yeah, exhale, left. Now let's see if we can do both. Squeeze both glutes together. Drive the toes actively away and release. And repeat, squeeze the glutes. 2 more times. The legs are hip distance here. Squeeze and release. Now let's bring ourselves back to the cobra, the Sphinx, sorry. Forearms on the floor, bring the forearms closer together if you want to, but keep those shoulder blades pulling downwards. Okay, this time with the belly in, the tail tucked, keep both hips still on the floor. Take the hand out to the side. Pull in. Other side. And pull it in. Let's do that 3 more times. Then we can keep the hands on the floor. You don't have to go that far out. Keep the chest open. Don't sink into your shoulders. Now, if you can, shoulder height. Keep the belly in, the tail tucked. Open the chest. We'll do that 1 more time. Think about the muscles in the upper back, but not in the neck. Lovely. And come down to the floor again. Take a moment. Now, let's do the toe heel sequence. This is about bottom and hamstrings. If it goes into your lower back, stop and come and join me again. But keep thinking about tail tucked, belly in. Breathe into your rib cage. Imagine you're a fish. Breathing into the back of your shoulder blades. Okay, now we're going to bring the toes together. The toes come together. Focus on length, not height. Yeah, I don't want any bend in the knee. Okay, so you want to drive your toes away, and we're going to do little pulses. We're going to bring the toes together. So we go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now the heels together. 10, 9, 8. So this is engaging a different part of the glute now. 3, 2, 1, and toes again. 2, 3. Keep breathing into the ribs. And heels. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And toes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep lengthening. And heels. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final set. 10. Toes. We keep the shoulders down, belly in, tail tucked. 3, 2, 1, and heels. 2. Keep long. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Give those hips a little shake. Okay. So again, we're strengthening the back of the body here, stretching out the anterior chain as when we started, but far more intense. But regular practice of this will make standing up so much easier, yeah? So we're going to now bring ourselves into Swan. The hands can come out to the sides. I take my hands in line with my ears. There's different variations here. Do whatever feels right for you. Okay, if we come down here with our hands into our rib cage and come into a kind of like a cobra, then you're working different muscles. Okay, I can feel this more in my rhomboids, in between my shoulder blades. And I'm getting a beautiful stretch, but perhaps make it a bit more challenging. Take your hands wide to the ears. You can't go up necessarily as high now. And you're going to think about the back of the shoulders, the muscles in the rear deltoids here. And you're going to exhale, belly in, and push the ground away from your chest away from your ground, sorry, and push into the hands and draw the blades into that soft V, or just straight down. Yeah, belly in, tail tucked. And on your next exhale, drop down and drive your toes actively away. The legs are long. Breathing in. Breathing in into Swan. Stretching out the chest, upper back working in between those shoulder blades. Exhale, glutes and hamstrings. Stretch out the hips and the quads. Let's do that 1 more time. You can look up if you want to. Exhale, slowly lower, length, 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 and release. Well done. Okay, so bring your hands underneath your shoulders, bring yourselves back. We're just going to take a child's pose here if you want to. Knees together this time, and bring your arms behind you.
And just feel the roundedness of your body, like you're an egg. And you're pulling your belly in, your shoulders are down. Just let the breath relax you. And take a moment, lovely, well done. So let's come up now onto our bottoms. And we're going to bring those legs out in front of us. Bring the legs out. Now option, bend the knees, otherwise straight levers. We're going to breathe in as we take the arms out in front of us, draw the blades into that soft V. So we're keeping the back of the shoulders on an imaginary wall. We're going to breathe in, and on our exhale, we're going to round it over the beach ball and come into capital C. Flex the heels to make it a bit more challenging. Keep the belly pulling backwards, the shoulders and the hips pulling back. The only thing going forward, the crown of the head and the heels. Take a deep inhale now to restack. So we can breathe while you're doing that, yeah? Exhale, round. Capital C. Feel the stretch perhaps in the hamstrings here, or you may feel it in your spine. Wherever you're tightest will tell you. Open up the blades and stretch the skin into that upper back area that you just worked. Keep pulling the belly and the hips back, the shoulders down, away from the ears. And let's restack the spine. Lovely. Now, option, if you've got a ball and you find roll up hard, you can always put the ball behind you to take you down to a point of tension. All right? Or you can put a big, thick pillow or cushion. Otherwise, we'll warm up anyway. We're going to come into roll up. So on your inhale, we lengthen, 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 lengthen. And on our exhale, we start with the tail, we tuck it under, we bring that rib down to the hips, the sternum down to that internal pelvic floor that's lifting up. We round through the spine. The neck and shoulders are relaxed. We go to a point of tension. Now drive your thighs actively away, belly in. On our exhale, we come forward into spine stretch. Now don't restack the spine, just simply tuck the tail under and open up the discs in the lower spine by pulling your belly in, stretching out that spine. Exhale, ribs pull down to the hips, condense. Yeah, exhale. Let's do that 2 more times, breathing in, round, keep your shoulders down, away from the ears. Now to make it more challenging, the palms can go wide or the arms go wide, yeah, and exhale. So if you find roll up hard at the moment, don't worry if it's going into the neck and the shoulders. We don't really want it to go there, but if that's, you'll find in time, this will take over, yeah? Thighs driving actively away. Engage those legs to help you. Lovely. Now we're going to go all the way to the floor this time. So breathing in, we're not restacking the spine, we're just rounding and going all the way to the floor to take a full body stretch. The arms go over the head. We're trying to relax the neck and shoulders. And on our exhale, we're going to come up, chin to chest, rib to hip. Now option, rolling like a ball, or you can roll onto your side to bring yourself up to join us here. Yeah, if you find it difficult, put something behind you, a block or something, just to go down to the ball rather than all the way to the floor. So this is pure six-pack muscles. Yeah, we've got to think about everything here. Stretch the bottom, or to that point of tension. Exhale. Round up and over into this spine stretch, the capital C. Now let's restack the spine this time. We're going to take a deep inhale here, and on our exhale, we're going to go all the way down to the floor, all of us, yeah? So we're going to stay at the bottom now and come into shoulder bridge. So all the way down, and we're going to bring the heels underneath the knees, arms by the sides, chin slightly tucked in. So you're looking at the knees, top of the knees right on the ceiling. Relax the neck and shoulders. Now on your exhale, tucking your tail under, yes, so that your pubic bone comes higher than your belly, the lower back's in the floor, squeeze your glutes and peel that spine off the floor. Breathing in at the top, relax the neck and shoulders. Exhale, upper back comes down first, middle back, lower back, flick the tail off, let's go again. So we're thinking about that pelvic tilt each time. Squeeze the glutes like you're cracking some nuts in the butt cheeks, thrusting the hips up to the sky, but without putting any pressure into the lower back. So if you're feeling your lower back, come down a bit there. We don't go too high. You've got to squeeze your glutes. Bring your ribs down to your hips and your pelvic floor muscle up. Hoist up, 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 up. This is all happening here. And when you come down, you try and keep the hips up as you bring the upper back down first. The belly has to be pulled in, and you're rounding through that spine. We'll do this one more time. Exhale. The chin's slightly tucked into the chest, but the chest is lifting up to the sky. We're just going to hold the position. All 5 toes actively on the floor. The hips are level. And we're going to come down. Now, you can always, once you flip your tail back to neutral, you can always come onto your side to bring yourself up to a seated position. Okay, otherwise, we're going to slide the toes away, the arms overhead. And on our exhale, we're going to bring our chin to our chest, our ribs to our hips, and we're going to roll back up again into our spine stretch. Okay, so we're going to start off now just by bending both knees for a moment. And we're just going to straighten out our right leg as we bring our left leg in towards us. Now I want you to take your left elbow underneath your left knee and place your right hand around your wrist and simply push that knee in towards your shoulder, your left knee into your left shoulder. Now, keep the tail tucked slightly here, rib to hip connection. We don't want to pop the lower back here. On your inhale, try and straighten that leg as much as you can. Exhale, bend. Breathing in, breathing out. Now keep that belly in, keep the lower back rounded, but try and keep the chest open. We'll do this 2 more times. Breathing in, breathing out, and 1 more time. Now keep the leg bent and bring your arms out to the side. Option, hands can be around the leg if you want to, but if they're out here, more challenging. We're going to tap the toe to the floor, and with your abs, you're going to pull that leg back in. Breathing in, breathing out. Around the lower back, but keep the chest open. Breathing in, breathing out. Now we're going to do 2 more. Option, straight lever. Lower, pull up. And 1 more time. Lower, belly, belly, belly. Option, bend the knee. Now, we're going to take that leg up to the sky and we're going to place the hands around that leg. Now, keep the chest open. Elbows can go wide if you want to. And we're going to round through the spine and we're going to go all the way down to the floor, but keep the head and shoulders off the floor. Now, we're going to slide. Actually, we're going to extend that right leg away and we're going to come into scissor. So I want you to point both toes, elbows stay wide, lower back in the floor. Now, hug your thigh muscles around your bones. We're going to do 10 repetitions of scissor. 10, 9, 8. Now keep lifting up the chest to the ceiling. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now bring that left leg back to the start position. Slide your right heel underneath your right knee and take your head and shoulders to the floor. Now, in this position, we're just going to flex the heel and we're going to slide that left heel down to the floor and exhale, drive it up with the pointed toe. So we flex on the way down. We exhale through the mouth, point the toe straight back up. Let's do this 3 more times. Breathing in, breathing out. Now make sure that right heel is underneath your right knee. Do this 1 more time. Breathing in, breathing out. Now we lower the heel down and on our exhale we lift the bottom off the floor. Single leg bridge. Now inhale, flex the heel. Everything goes to the floor including your bottom. Relax, rest. Exhale, drive up. 2. Breathing in, breathing out. So the right glute is having to work hard here. Option, stick to just a normal bridge if you want to, yeah? Take both legs to the floor and just practice the bridge. 5, we're gonna do 1 more. Relax the neck and shoulders. And 6, now we hold the position. For the next 6 repetitions, we're gonna lower the leg to the right thigh, drag straight back up. Right glute is working, we're gonna rest on 5. Now option, bend this left leg and tap the toe to the floor, or just hold the position. 3. We've got 3 more breaths. Keep working into that right glute. 4. 2 more. Keep the hips level. Keep lifting up, up, up. Last one. Now take the toe and heel down to the floor. Restore your bridge. Exhale, upper back, middle back, lower back, flick the tail. And we're going to take both arms out to the side and take the knees over to our left, just to feel the stretch now in that right glute. Oh, that was challenging. Pull the belly in, come back to the center. Take a full body stretch. Now option, just go onto one side and use your hands to bring yourself up into a seated position. Otherwise, flexed heels, chin to chest, rib to hip, rounding through the spine into our spine stretch again. Now, let's do the other side. So, the right leg now. Right elbow under right knee. And again, don't be afraid to have a little round lower back here, as long as the chest remains open and we're not creating this body, yeah? The upper back can be straight, chest open, but the lower back can be rounded, tail tucked slightly. Take the right leg off the floor, left leg can be straight. We inhale, we extend, and we bend. The right knee is as much into that chest as you can. The more you intensify and bring it in towards that right shoulder, the more intense on the stretch. You'll do 2 more. And 1 more. Beautiful. Now, let's take the leg out to the out in front of you. Arms to the side. Option, hands can be further in to make it easier. We tap the toe to the floor. We use our abs to pull in like a drawbridge. Round the lower back, but keep the chest open. Rib to hip connection. 2 more. Option, straight lever makes it more challenging. Keep the lower back rounded. Let's do that 1 more time. And take hold of that leg. Pull it in towards you. Round the lower back to keep the chest open. We're going to walk all the way down to the floor. Keep the head and shoulders off the floor. Drive your left thigh actively away. Pull that leg in towards you. Straighten the lever. We go for 10 and 9. And keep the shoulders down. 8. 7. Can the chest come higher to the ceiling? 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring that right leg in. Slide the left heel underneath your left shoulder. Head and shoulders to the floor. So we start off relaxing here just by flexing the heel, lowering to the floor, point the toe, pull up. Keep everything on the floor now. This is just the warm up. Breathing in, breathing out. Get the leg movement right. Flex down. Point the toe straight back up for 3. We're getting some nice mobility in the hip joint, and we're stretching out the hamstrings. Let's do 1 more. Now make sure the left heel is underneath your left knee. Okay, so when you come up, the left glute is going to be working hard here. 6. Drop everything to the floor, including your bottom. Then lift up. Single leg bridge on the left hand side now. 3. Got 3 more. Should be that left bottom cheek. Got 1 more. And we're going to hold the position. Now you can either stay here, bend the knee as an option, and tap the toe to the floor. Otherwise, straight lever, lower, point the toe, pull. Now we keep everything up. We keep those hips level. We've got 3 more. Squeeze that left glute and work a little bit higher now, harder. We've got 1 more. Now let's take the toe and heel down to the floor. Restore your bridge. Exhale, upper back, middle back, lower back. And flick the tail up, arms to the side. Take both legs over to your left this time as you look over to your right. And stretch. And come back to the start position. Okay, so we're going to now come into some abdominal work, some rectus abdominis, some real six-pack muscle, but it involves the power of your legs. We need to get those legs nice and strong. So we're going to start off by bringing our legs to tabletop. Shins parallel to the floor, toes pointed, The heels do not drop, okay? Now I want you to bring your legs together, hands behind the head, lift their head and shoulders, chin to chest, rib to hip, okay? And the chest is lifting up to the sky, okay? We're going to squeeze our legs together and we're going to drive the legs out at an angle. We exhale, use our abs to pull in. We stretch out. Keep the lower back lengthened into the mat. We don't want that arching. So the ribs pull down to the hips, the pelvic floor lifts. We've got 7 more, elbows wide, but in peripheral vision. Squeeze the inner thighs together, make sure the glutes are engaged, those knees must be straight ahead, not going inwards. 4 more. Now the lower the legs go, the more challenging. We've got a little way to go yet, so don't over too tense it here. And we've got 2 more. Squeeze the legs, drive the legs away, we push. Hold the position, heels together. We're going to bring the arms down by the sides. Now we're going to lift the ribs to the hips. It's a feeling, not a movement. We're going up, rib to hip, 9. We rest in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, chest up, rib to hip. Squeeze the legs away and bring those legs in. And take the knees into external rotation now. Little hip circles here as we recover. Other direction. Now, this is a great exercise to support you with your teaser, okay, which is a difficult exercise. So the idea is we have strong legs, we have legs that are nicely flexible now, and your spine is relaxed because your abs are doing all the work. We're going to do that one more time, and the idea is that even after the end, once you've done your 10 pulses, see if from that position you can use your hands to pull yourself up into your teaser. Option, bend the knees, yeah? If your hamstrings are tight, keep this position. Option, if you're in your position, you use your abdominal strength to help you lift up, 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 up. And we hold just for 4 counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So, yes, do what you can manage. If you felt that was too challenging, you can always just take one leg out, pull in, yeah? One leg, okay? Do 5 on each side, okay? And then see if you can hold it like this as you do your pulses. Keep the legs bent. There's so many options, okay? Otherwise, hands behind the head. We push in, we inhale, and exhale, your choice which way you do it, yeah? It doesn't really matter, as long as there's a breath for each movement. And the chest is lifting up to the ceiling to make it more intense. So it's up to you how much challenge you want. I don't like to go too low with my legs because I want to ensure that my abs are doing the work and not my lower back. And I'm squeezing my inner thighs together. I want to be a little bit in control here. Zipping up my pelvic floor, rib to hip connection. We're going to do 2 more. And on the 10th one, we hold the position, option bend the knees. Now you think about rib to hip for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And you lift up and you hold the position for 4. Can you go any higher? 2, 1, and let's come up, hands behind the hamstrings, or simply come into your teaser. We hold for 4. Belly in, round the spine at the lower back if you need to, but lift up through the chest. And come down into stretching it out. Well done. Challenging. Very good. So we're going to do the same kind of exercise now, but we're going to work and use the muscles, the obliques on the sides. So we come onto our side, onto your right hand side. So make sure you're on your right hand side, and I want you to take the legs up so that you're on the meaty side of your right bottom cheek. Now, option, you're going to keep that right leg on the floor and just do your left leg. But what I want is your right shoulder off the floor. So you have to balance in this position. Both shoulders off the floor, you're on your meaty side of your right bottom cheek. We drive both legs out, or just one leg, the left leg, and pull back in. So this is a challenge in itself to try and actually balance. Yeah, and it's the left rib to hip that we're going to feel this. 4. Now squeeze your legs together. Option, keep the right leg on the floor and just stride that left leg out. And 8. You got 2 more. And 9. And hold the position on 10. Option, bend the knees. Otherwise, arms up and we go for 10. 9, 8, left rib to hip. 5, 4, can you go higher? 3, 2, 1, and down we come. Oh, you should feel that in that right rib to hip connection on that left hand side there, the obliques. And so we're going to do the other side now. So when you're ready, remember this is all short term, it's all temporary, and then you can enjoy all the benefits afterwards. Yeah, it will all disappear as soon as you stop. So try and enjoy the feeling of feeling those muscles and how they ache. Yeah, that means that they're growing. So we're on the left hand side now, and we're going to go back onto the meaty part of the bottom. We don't want to be on the hip, and you're going to struggle to balance in this position. Elbows in peripheral vision, but wide. Okay, now squeeze the inner thighs together. The unit is, this is one bark of the tree. The legs are one unit. They're not two separate units, the legs. One unit, okay? Option, the left leg on the floor, just take the right leg up to the ceiling, yeah? Otherwise, we breathe in both legs. Exhale in. Both shoulders off the floor. We try and push the chest up to the sky to make it more intense on that right rib to hip side now. And 4. And 5. We've got less than 20 seconds to go to the finish, yeah? So just try and hold on and think about embracing that feeling of burning in that right rib to hip here. Squeeze the legs together. We've got one more, I think. And we're going to hold the position, arms out, and let's go up. Bend the knees is an option. 10, 9, 8, 7. Now keep the legs together. 5, 4. Can you go any higher? 3. Hold still. Can you go higher? And 1, and down we come. Oh, and let's take a full body stretch now. Well done. Did really well. Woo! Abs. Tick. Rectus Abdominis, the 6-pack muscles, as well as the obliques. Very good. Okay, so let's just now come into more mobility work. We're just going to come onto the side and do bicycle legs on our side. So this is more about mobility in the hips again, stretching out the hamstrings and stretching the hip flexors and the quads, if anything. So we're going to make sure that we are stacked, the armpit in line with the hips. Use your mat as a guide, but then bring the legs forward. You do need to bring the legs forward from the hips so you can see the toes. They're slightly ahead of you, okay? And open this chest, yeah, if you can, hand on the hip. And we're going to take the top leg up just to hip height, okay? And we're going to kick forward the flexed heel, and then we're going to point the toe and we're going to pull. Now tuck the tail under when you do this. We don't want to arch the lower back. And we slow this right down. So what we're doing, we're just stretching the hip flexor, and then we're stretching the hamstring by coming in. Yeah, keep the chest open. The belly has to work hard here. The stabilizer muscle now. The transverse abdominis that wraps around the spine. Tuck the tail. And I'm doing 2 little pulses. I go up, and can I go any higher? And exhale. Can I go further back? Now we're going to kick forward. I want you to bend the knee and then take the knee behind as far as you can go, but keep the tail tucked. Now we're stretching out the quad here with the heel into the bum. Then I want you to straighten the leg, and now this is hip flexor stretch. And then we're going to kick forward, hamstring, bend the knee, quad stretch, keep the tail tucked, and extend the leg, pull. And let's do 2 more. And 1 more. Tail tucked, straighten, pull, pull, pull. And now we're going to come back to the start position, and we're going to go back, tail tucked. Now bend the knee, heel into bum, Feel the quad stretch here. We come forward, knee right up as high as you can into hamstring. Point the toe, hip flexor stretch. Keep the tail tight. Bend the knee, heel into bum, quad stretch. Now keep driving that bottom leg into the floor. And make sure that your upper body is relaxed. I think it's the last one we're going to do. Beautiful. And take that leg down to the floor. And let's switch sides. So we're going to kick forward. Just be aware of how your body might be feeling on one side compared to the other. Is your left hip tighter than your right? Perhaps it's easier. Bottom leg driving down, keep the belly slightly pulled in, so there's a little gap between the lower back, the waist and the floor. And again, you're trying to increase the range each time, but listening to your body. Now we're going to kick forward, hamstring. We're going to bend the knee, take the knee behind the hip line if we can, but tuck the tail, quad stretch. Now extend the lever, pull, 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 and kick, kick, kick. Bend the knee, and pull. Kick. Slow it down if you need to. Come back to the start position. We go back, point the toe, heel into bottom, quad stretch, all the way into the chest, hamstring. Relax the neck and shoulders, pull the belly slightly in, drive the bottom leg into the floor. Well done. And take that bottom leg to the floor, the top leg down to the floor. And well done. Let's come now onto all fours. And we're just going to sink down into our child's pose. Now we're going to take both hands over towards our left with the right hand over the left fingertips. See if the right fingertips can go over the left and keep driving that right bottom cheek, the right hips back into the right heel. Feel the stretch in the right side of the body. Come back to the start position and over to the other side with the left fingertips driving over the right. See if that forehead can touch the ground. And walk those hands back in. We're simply going to come into a Sphinx position again, just to stretch out the abs. Yeah, forearms on the floor. Tuck the tail under. Push the pubic bone down. Now, the collarbone is reaching forward. The shoulders are driving back. We're pushing the chest forward and we're just lengthening through that six-pack muscle, the rectus abdominis here now, the abs. Don't sink into the elbows or the shoulders. Lift up, 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 up and forward. And release. Let's place our hands underneath our shoulders. Cat and cow, just going to do this 2 times. So on your exhale, we tuck the tail under and we round through the spine. Exhaling, yeah, and on the inhale, we flick the tail up, we dip the lower spine, we draw the blades back and we look up. And we do that one more time, we round through that lower back in particular, middle back, upper back, neck and shoulders stretch. And inhale to a neutral spine. Now option, you can just tuck your toes under and wait for me here in the sort of bent over position. Otherwise we're going to come into full plank. So drive one leg away, drive the heel actively back, squeeze your glutes and do the same with the other leg. Lifting up with your upper abdominals, shoulders away from the ears. Now, on your inhale, we lift up onto our tiptoes and then backwards with our hips. Adjust the feet if you need to. Yeah, we pedal the feet into the floor. Just preparing here. Make sure your neck and shoulders are relaxed. Now, we keep the pelvis completely still. The thighs are strong, the abs are engaged, the lats are engaged. We're going to bring a different hand to what we came down with into the middle of the body. Keep the pelvis nice and still. Bend the knees if you need to. Yeah, and walk those hands back to your feet. Tailbone flicking up to the sky. Hands behind the hamstrings. Crown of head reaching for the toes as the tail flicks up, yeah, in our position. Take a deep inhale into your rib cage, and on your exhale, we're going to restack the spine. Lower back, middle back, upper back with our head and shoulders on top last. Lengthening through the spine. Both legs lovely and strong. The glutes are engaged, the thigh muscles wrapped around the bones. The chest is open, yes, and the shoulder blades are driving down into the base of the spine. The crown of the head is reaching up to the ceiling. We're going to inhale and take both arms up with our lat muscles engaged. Exhale out to the sides, and let's just repeat that 2 more times, breathing into the nose to lengthen. Exhale through the mouth to strengthen. Keep the belly slightly pulled in as you elevate the arms. Exhale out to the sides and relax. Well done for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Any feedback welcome. Have a great day. Well done. Bye-bye.